What's up, guys? So ever since I built this modern shed behind me, a lot of you have been asking, how much did it cost to build this shed? So in today's video, I'm gonna break down every single cost that went into building this shed behind me so that you guys can determine how financially irresponsible I was to build this monstrosity.
Substantial level of stupid.
So with that being said, let's get into the video. And I know what you're thinking, I should have worn a helmet. So first things first, we need to rewind because I had an existing shed here, and because I did all of the demolition work on my own, that was $0 minus the time it took me to actually demolish a shed and take it to the landfill. So with the existing shed out of the way,
we can now talk about the concrete shed foundation.
So the first thing we need to talk about is the actual shed foundation, which is a concrete slab that's beneath the shed. Now, I was fortunate in the fact that there was an existing 10 by 10 slab, so I didn't actually have to build one. But it's a 10 by 10 concrete slab. Usually you're gonna put around 4 inches of sub base underneath it. And if you were gonna have to buy this and basically get a new foundation, I'm guessing it would run you around maybe $2,000. But those of you who are more familiar with concrete, leave a comment down below on what you think a 10 by 10 slab would cost for this shed foundation. So with the slab in place, it's time to talk about the shed base frame and also the walls and the roof and all of the lumber that went into the framing package for this shed. So basically, we constructed the base using 4x4s, and then we used 2x4s to construct the walls. We had some 2x6s as wall headers, and then we used 2x6s to span as the roof rafters. Now, this package was a bit more robust because I used 2x6s, and it's gonna be a lot stronger than what you would get at like Home Depot, which is gonna use like 2x3s and OSB. But for all of the wall studs, the rafters, basically the dimensional lumber, I spent $923. And a quick reminder, I have a free framing guide that you can download for this shed. I'll link that in the description. And then I also have a shed building course, which has all of these materials listed out, the quantities you're gonna need, and it's in a quick printout that you can basically print and give to somebody at either Lowe's or Home Depot, and they can prepare that order and have it delivered. So if you want the free framing guide or the course, which has literally everything you need, check out the resources down in the description. Now, on top of that shed base, I used marine grade plywood, which is pretty expensive, and that cost me around $240 for all of those plywood sheets that made up the subfloor. And for the 1/2-inch plywood that I used for the sheathing on the walls of the shed, as well as the plywood roof decking, that was 9 sheets total, which came out to around $410. So for the shed siding right here and also on the front, I used LP Smart Side panels. They come in 4x8 sheets, and this is gonna span all the way around the shed. I needed 9 panels total. I think they were $40 per panel at the time that I bought them, times 9 sheets I needed, which was around $360 for the LP Smart Siding that I used as my shed siding. So this right here, this veneer that I put on top of the sheathing, this was actually leftover flooring from my house. It's luxury vinyl plank flooring. So that was completely free. I put that here, and I also put it on the soffit, $0. Don't know if I'd recommend this. We'll see how it holds up over time, but it seemed kind of like a creative idea at the time, and I don't know, I think it looks pretty good. So for all the shed trim, I used PVC, and this was just white PVC trim that I pre-painted black. I wanted to use PVC because obviously that's gonna hold up to the elements better than wood. So I paid a premium to get kind of this nice weather resistant, mold resistant trim. For all the trim that went here, 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 and then around the windows and also the fascia boards, I'm embarrassed to say it, but I spent $516 for the trim. So if you guys thought I was embarrassed about the trim cost, wait till I tell you about this door. So this roll-up door, I got from a company called Steel Door Depot. Meh, customer service was okay. I don't know if I'd recommend them, but I got it from Steel Door Depot, and I really liked the idea of a roll-up door. I thought it would look pretty cool, but these doors are crazy expensive. This door, I think, was around $500, and then for delivery, it's like an extra $200 because it comes on this huge pallet-looking thing. So I'm embarrassed to say, I spent $700 on this roll-up door.
It's stupid on steroids.
Let me know in the comments if you think it was worth it. This kind of broke the bank on the shed, so if I was gonna do it differently and kind of on a budget, this roll-up door is probably the first thing to go. Now, to try to offset some of my roll-up door debt, I wanna talk about today's video sponsor, Factor.
Factor has solved the meal prep dilemma by sending you pre-made delicious meals directly to your front door that can be prepared in 2 minutes. This eliminates the need for grocery shopping, cooking, cleanup, everything. Because if you spend your days building a shed or exercising or playing basketball, sometimes the last thing you feel like doing is cooking and cleaning up a meal. So for busy people, Factor provides balanced eating made simple. They provide new menus each week with dozens of delicious options based on your taste preferences, dietary restrictions, etc. And these meals are cooked by real chefs using the freshest ingredients. You can also get things like breakfast, desserts, or these smoothies that I use for both hydration and juggling practice. Basically, Factor takes care of everything so that you can focus on living your best life, doing your work, and other things that take precedent over grocery shopping, meal prep, and cleanup.
Use code Andrew50 to get 40% off your order or click the link in the description. Thanks again to Factor for sponsoring the video. Now let's get back into it. So at this point, let's talk about the shed roof and the cost for those shingles. I'm gonna have to transition for B-roll because I can't show you the top without getting on a ladder, and I'm getting too old for that, guys, I'll be honest with you. So between the shingles, the drip edge, the tar paper, the nails to actually nail the shingles to the roof, I spent, actually let me double check what I spent. I actually only spent $353 for the shingles and everything because I think I only needed 6 packs of shingles to do the square footage on top of my roof. So $353 for the shingles and the shed roof. So these 3 windows you see on the front of the shed are actually acrylic panels, and I got these really thin, kind of flimsy panels. In hindsight, I should have got something a little bit thicker, but I got a 3-pack of these acrylic panels off Amazon. I'll link them down below. That was $33 total. So a little bit flimsy, but definitely inexpensive. On the subject of windows, we got these windows for $39 on Amazon. There's one on this side and one on the other side. So 2 windows, $39 each, $78 total for the windows. Also, you can see that I bought these floodlights. So these were $33 each. I have one on this side and one on the other side. So 2 of those, that's $66 for the floodlights. And then I also installed these decorative lights on the front. Hopefully you can see that in the sunlight. But this was a 2-pack, one on this side, one on this side, 50 bucks, so 25 each, but 50 total. And while we're talking about electricity up in here, I basically ran conduit down here, underground, all the way into my house. I did this with the help of an electrician, but I did most of the actual manual labor on that. That cost me in materials, I would ballpark around $200. The labor is obviously what would kill you on that. I think it was worth it, but it was a lot of work excavating and digging all of it. I'll leave a video down below so you can see exactly what was involved with running electricity to the shed. Also, it's a little messy in here, but I have a light that's overhead in the shed. And this bay light was LED, it was pretty expensive. It was $69, but at night it makes working out here a breeze, so I think it was worth it. So while we're inside the shed, let's talk about the interior amenities, if you will. Basically, around the entire perimeter on every wall, I installed a product called ProSlat Slat Wall. It's basically a French cleat system. ProSlat actually sent this product to me to basically showcase, so that's kind of a YouTuber privilege. So I got this for free, but I do have a discount down below if you want to buy some. It's a pretty good product, but it is a little more expensive, and I would probably just do a small segment of the shed as opposed to the whole thing if I was going to do this again. And another YouTube privilege product was Spartan Epoxies, and I put down this epoxy coating on the floor. I think it looks awesome, but for most people, I feel like this is gonna be overkill, but if you were gonna put this in, I'll look it up, I'd probably be around 500 bucks for a kit to do a 10 by 10 square foot area like this. So this shed ramp was actually free because I had leftover Trex boards from the deck that I built, and then I just had a couple pieces of 2x4 that was pressure treated that I was able to cut and actually build this ramp. So it was free for me, but if you were gonna build this yourself in materials, I would budget probably around 150 bucks. And I'll leave a link to this video down below so that you can see what went into building this shed ramp. It was pretty easy. And in addition to everything that I already mentioned, there were obviously some miscellaneous costs like paint, caulk around all the trim. We needed hurricane ties to secure the rafters to the actual wall. Little things like that, they actually do add up over time. I don't have the actual pricing for all of that offhand, but let's just assume we spent $400 on miscellaneous items like paint, caulk, hurricane ties, screws, etc. And the last thing to mention about cost is I kind of have this DIY YouTube channel, so I have a lot of tools already on hand. But if you were going to be building this yourself, you're going to need things like, saws, you're going to need a roofing nailer to install your shingles. There's a lot of incidental costs that might not have been captured here, so just keep that in mind when you're budgeting for your own shed. So when we add up the price for the slab, the wall framing, the T111 LP Smart siding, the veneer, the trim, the roof, the epoxy, which was free, thank goodness, the wall, which was free, thank goodness, and this grossly overpriced Steel Door Depot roll-up door, we get a grand total for this 10 by 10 modern shed of
$4,424.35. Now I have two columns there. One is my cost and the other is the cost you would likely pay, and I highlighted the rows like the steel roll-up door and the PVC trim, which could probably be reduced to save money. And I also have a 10% discount applied at the bottom because it's pretty easy to get the Pro Desk or a military discount if you know someone in the military, or just go through the Pro Desk.
So hopefully you guys benefited from this cost breakdown, have a better idea of what it would cost to build a shed similar to this one. And if it helped you out, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you like DIY content like this. And keep in mind that I do have videos for nearly every single step of this modern shed building process, and I'll link all of them down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.